Zeke, how you doing over there?
Just enjoying 2020, embracing the new year.
Are you embracing a new you?
No.
Going to be the same old Zeke, new year?
Most likely.
Well, before we go any further into 2020, I don't think we did a good enough job wrapping up 2019.
I wouldn't say good enough job. It was just very focused on a different aspect of the year that at least I leaned heavily towards being a good idea of a show.
I agree with you, but I think we omitted some stuff, so let's get to it.
Sounds good.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Edwards, and with me is Zeke Baker, and together we make the Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us a part of your day. How are you, Zeke Baker?
Just reveling in, 2020.
Yeah?
Although, I do wonder, Feliz Navidad is Merry Christmas. What is Happy New Year?
It would be Feliz Año Nuevo.
That came to me at some point, though. I thought, man, how is it, most people would know Merry Christmas is Feliz Navidad, but how many people don't know what Happy New Year is? Because, you usually say them together.
Feliz Año Nuevo. Hablo un poquito español, pero es muy mal. No sé.
You've said something different every time, and I don't know none of it yet.
It would be Happy Year New is the way that you would, so it would be Feliz Año Nuevo. Just tell me, it would come after.
I can't debate this point. I have no frame of reference or knowledge here.
So the descriptor comes after the object in Spanish.
Whatever you say.
Anyways, it was a great year. We're going to talk a little bit more about it because we already had a show on it, but I think there were some things that we missed, and Zeke thought there were some things that we missed, and it wasn't any fault of our own. We had a great show. We're very proud of the wrap-up show we had, but we focused a lot on the big experiences, and there were some other things that happened that I think we should talk about and just get them out of the way before we get into 2020.
Yeah, we didn't touch on any industry type related things, but I didn't think it was the time or the place, and our goal for that was simply to sit down and really reflect on a year of experiences, because that's what 2019 was, to me so much, was just so many good times, meeting so many different people, really, the Bourbon network, I guess, quote unquote.
Totally agree.
Exponential expansion there. And that was, looking back on anything I could think of, what always stood out the most was like, we did this with these people. We met these folks. We did this and this. Not necessarily anything that was industry related, but as far as what stood out the most, to me or us at the end of the day, was really just growing those types of relationships.
And we don't have a lot of shows where you and I just sit around, shoot the shit about randoms. No, we talk... We shoot the shit about whiskey, but we keep it very whiskey central. We don't really talk about the other stuff. Well, we know people don't want to hear us talk about that stuff too.
Yeah.
So we're just going to get through it. It'll be a short show. Want to let you know tonight's show is sponsored by CaskCartel.com. They are changing the industry standard as to how you receive your alcohol. Get the world's greatest spirits delivered directly to your door with CaskCartel.com. They are like the Amazon of the spirits industry, so go ahead and go on Cask Cartel. You'll get matched up with a merchant that will send something directly to you. Whatever spirit you're looking for, they have it. They even have some picks and some hard-to-find stuff. Go on to CaskCartel.com and get it shipped directly to you. It's the most convenient way to get alcohol unless you live directly next to a liquor store. Also, follow them on Instagram at CaskCartel.com. They are always doing cool giveaways and all sorts of stuff, including a giveaway that they are doing with us right now. So check our Instagram for the next 2 days. Today is Monday. You have until Tuesday night to get it in to win a sample of Old Rip 10. You can also get a sample of the Angel's Envy Cast Strength Unicorn Blend, and then whatever else Zeke and I want to throw in along with it. So we have a lot of good stuff. We might have some swag. We might have some
Pickers vodka.
love some Pickers vodka. You never know what samples we're going to give. You never know what swag we're going to give. Go on to Dad's Drinking Bourbon on Instagram. There are going to be 2 winners, but also follow Cask Cartel on Instagram to get the world's greatest spirits delivered directly to your door. Zeke has a puzzled look on his face right now.
I still can't put my finger on this pour.
Zeke did bring over something, and we are going to do a more comprehensive show around this. Zeke just brought it over and said, hey, this might be interesting for us to have a sip of. And it is the Lincoln Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 57.5 ABV, 115 proof. And all we know about this is it's bottled by Boundary Oak Distillery in Hardin County, Kentucky. It is non-chill filtered, and it says bottled in the county of Lincoln's birth, but it doesn't let you know where it was distilled.
Man, back in the summer, one of the guys at the whiskey house brought in a bottle from Kentucky, and on that one, we think it said that it was wheated, and this one doesn't. But it was good, and he said it was like $50 or $60. So I was at Barrels and Brews, and I happened to see it sitting on the shelf. I thought, all right, $60, 115 proof. I don't know if it's the exact same what we had, but I'll give it a whirl. And I can't put my finger quite on the profile or the flavors that's going on, but it's interesting. Well, I wonder if it's still wheated. It's honestly my biggest question, because it's not corn forward.
No, but it definitely does not taste 115 proof. Like, there's no burn.
So I don't know. We'll, like John said, we would never do a show without
sipping some
pours in our hands. So this was the random, I guess, side pour for this show as we discuss a few other things pertaining to 2019.
Yeah, and I think we hit a lot of the heavy hitters, right? We talked about Saffel. We talked about limited edition small batch. We talked about Cornerstone Rye. We talked about a whole bunch of other stuff. You know, King of Kentucky got good praise last year. We haven't actually reviewed it yet. We will soon. That Michter's 20 was tasty. We know with the BTAC, we really liked, you know, we're going to be reviewing some of that here soon, but there were things that we liked as far as the Handy, Weller, Eagle Rare was really good.
Well, yeah, I mean, but, you know, those are the usual suspects and whatnot. You know, I think as far as industry-wise, we did see a few new faces, you know, kind of step into the game, get the ball rolling and let themselves be known, really.
Absolutely.
You know, Pinhook kicked it up. Obviously, they'd been in the game for a little bit now, but I think relevancy-wise, that's a much more recognizable brand and something much more people are familiar with. And, you know, to their own, I guess, success of simply expanding distribution, getting in more markets, that's kind of, you know, what you want to do with yourself.
Well, here's the question I have, because I think it's something to be said. You know, Pinhook, people knew about Pinhook. People knew they were MGP, and we did talk about how that was the year of MGP and all that stuff at the Whiskey House. But Pinhook is moving to Castle and Key eventually this year, we're thinking. They got some more MGP and they're doing that vertical. Bourbon War came out. It was a 4-year. All that stuff being said, the biggest change for them is they started doing picks this year. And I think it's a testament to, you know, think about New Riff. New Riff did their picks. They're a household name outside of
I bet
Kentucky.
New Riff sold more picks than they did shelf stock.
You think about how these things go. It's like with the whiskey community and the bourbon community, does it mean that much right now to have picks versus not having picks? Is that what kind of gets everybody buzzing?
Well, people definitely love them. You know, it's a one-off. It's unique. And granted, not everyone sees them as quote-unquote allocated items, but, you know, as plenty of people will tell you. I mean, look at the numbers for any other limited release in bourbon. Not many are as low as, you know, 180 to 220 bottles of something that you can say nothing else will truly replicate.
100%.
But no, they did good. I think a lot of it, honestly, was just getting, you know, bigger distribution-wise, too, and just hitting a whole lot of new markets. I'll say a couple other ones that come to mind to me as far as, you know, really getting their foot in the door this year. You know, we're both the Treaty Oak and their various lineup that they have and the SKUs. And Old Elk as well really got into some good markets and caught some people's eyes.
Taconic.
Yeah.
You know, and then you think about some of these other things. Spirits of French Lick. We have some of that we will be reviewing here soon. Out of your home state of Georgia, you have...
French Lick's not in Georgia.
No, that's in Indiana, but out of your Detting or Detling, you haven't heard of that one yet?
No.
It's Big Escambia Spirits, and there is actually a bottled in bond out of Georgia now, if you can believe it.
Oh, there you go. circling back to Taconic, it's funny because at some point during the break, when you and I've been shooting the breeze about, hey, we need to circle back and kind of cover the industry side of things. And then I listened to that end of year show we did, and if there was a favorite pick or this, that, or what stood out, maybe not necessarily my favorite pick or bottling, but as far as any pick that I bought the most of, it's that Taconic Double Maple that Barrels and Brews has. I loaded up on it again when I was down there, like I said, a couple weeks ago.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
It's so good, isn't it?
I love the thing, man. I laugh. I tell everybody, like, I don't know why these are still there, unless folks just flat out aren't tasting the open taster they have on the bar. Like, the proof's in the pudding. Well, the pudding's right there, son. But no, I did laugh. Like, I don't know if I would, classify it as my favorite thing from the year. But if I looked at it simply from a number of like, all right, which pick did I go back to a store to buy the most of? That one just keeps drawing me in. And it's just there. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm going to buy another.
If you're looking quantity-wise, Zeke drank more Taconic Double Maple Barrel in 2019 than anything else.
As far as picks, I'm pretty sure, honestly.
And I mean, we talked about it the other night. I liked the Bell Mead Honey and I like the Black Bell. Those are two that I kind of gravitate.
You ain't getting more than one of those, though.
What?
You ain't get more than one of those.
No, I didn't. But that's the thing about these up and coming brands. And I think people need to remember that. I mean, we talked a lot about the heavy hitters and we didn't get to talking about these other brands that are coming up. Think of all the good stuff that's going on at Wilderness Trail. Those ryes are really good. Mm-hmm. It's a 2-year-old rye, but it's also a 2-year-old rye that's being priced at a fair price for a pick. There's plenty of stuff that isn't big name that's quote unquote craft. I think this was a year of a price adjustment on the crafts, especially in Tennessee. The prices kind of came down a little bit. I mean, if you think about all the places in Tennessee where you had, and I'll tell you, the rye out of Pennington in Nashville was great too. And the stuff that they've done, that Tennessee Sour Mash, now that Ashley Barnes is blending for them. Here's the other thing we didn't bring up. Chattanooga whiskey, the 91 and the 111.
I mean, you sleep with a bottle most nights. How do you not bring that up?
I do sleep with a bottle most nights. But and if you tell me that stuff's going to come out at $30 to $40, and that's not a great buy. I think that is one of the best transitions because you got to think they transitioned and they weren't ready for picks yet. So this year was not a pick year for them putting that stuff out. And
well, plus with so much of it being Solera and other stuff, it's got to be a little harder to do a true pick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the 111 isn't Solera. The 91 is the Solera. You tell me you're going to get a really good bottle for $30 and then your 111 proof is going to be $40. You can't go wrong with that.
No, but I will say inversely, even not to jump around a ton, but it just pops in the head. So apologies. As some of the crafts did come down and get to be a little more reasonable, also some of the big boys went up.
I think what happened is the market kind of went up because they were like, all these crafts are coming up.
Oh yeah. I'm sure they see it every day and they're like, all right, here's these folks that they got 3-year juice. We've got 7. And yes, granted, if you look at the, intrinsic factors of producing, sourcing ingredients, everything else that goes on, I'm sure those top 5 distilleries are buying at, a fraction of the cost as these little guys. But, either way, the price to us, the consumer, is still what it is. So I think they, really said, to borrow the line from Bernie Lubbers, it's the bourbon business, not the bourbon charity.
I agree. I think they kind of took that into it. And then all of a sudden the crafts were like, well, we're now at a position where we can go down a little bit. I'm curious to see what's going to happen in 2020 because as those big allocated ones went up from the big boys, the other ones went down a little bit. It doesn't meet in the middle.
I mean, I think overall we're still going to pay more.
Yeah.
But, kudos to the crafts, though, for trying to get a more affordable product into the market while also growing their own foothold, paying their bills, expanding their brand, etc. Because at the end of the day, if you're not able to get it in people's hands, and by that I mean us, the lay consumer, affording it easily, the ship just ain't never going to get out of the port.
And I think at the end of the day, it's also going to be one of those things that if someone's going to pay, I mean, price is relative, and people get upset when we talk about price. $500 may not be something to somebody, and it's a lot to somebody else.
Well, not even that amount of money, but I mean, there's
$100 is a lot.
I enjoyed it, but at this price point, when I go back to the store and I see it sitting there, yeah, unless I had a really good week or two, probably not going to happen. Another random one I did buy quite a few of this past year, Jim Beam Repeal Batch.
That was really good.
Literally the most flavor I've had in something for 86 proof. And granted, if you don't like Beam, it may not be your jam, but I knocked out some of those 750s of that, man. Like,
well, that
less than $20.
That and the Four Roses yellow label, now nude label, but those for 80 proof are under $20. Those 2 pours under $20 are great. But
the pop on that Repeal Batch of Jim Beam, and I think it's DC'd now, so if anybody sees it, literally, if you're a fan of Beam at all, I would say buy one. It should be less than $20 too, but...
Is it discontinued already?
I think it was a one-time deal or maybe sporadic. But
that's kind of like Distiller's Cut. Distiller's Cut was great.
Yeah, I think Tarek said that, but I mean, that compared to like 80 proof white label, I mean, it was literally on steroids. Testosterone through the roof.
Testosterone?
Testosterones.
What the hell is testosterone? Is this how you say it in Georgia?
I'll get you a cream later and help you out with it.
Testosterone. There are so many shirts we could make, like Moonsaw, Testosterones. It's all Zeke Baker saying.
Hey, I'm just trying to help you. You've been posting the stories of the working out and the other stuff. I'm just going Team John here.
All right. Testosterones.
That's too many O's. Testosterone.
Oh.
I get it from my dad. He decided to get his labs checked because he was worried. He calls me up. Oh, shit, son. I said I got testosterone on a 30-year-old man. I'm going strong. Testosterone through the roof. I'm like, do what now, Daddy? Testosterone is good. I'm like, oh, God. Man.
That's like Billy Bob. They scammed my cat. I can play.
Yeah. So, of course, I have to call all my friends back home. Like, oh, man, next time you go out of the office and see the old man, ask him about his testosterone.
Billy Bob, you got a CAT scan?
Man, I love that movie.
As do I. There's so much good stuff that is happening.
Well, what was nice, at least that sticks out in my mind the most, is, we saw more crafts with an enjoyable product. The price may have still not been exactly what you'd want to pay for, your daily drinker or whatever, quote unquote. But to me, the craft game really seemed to come around to a large degree because, you think normally you'd hear craft. You're like, all right, this is about one of those, you may as well put the hashtag support local here because that's all I'm really doing with my money. I'm not getting a good pour.
And something I was going to bring up that I hadn't brought up, gin.
Gin is in.
Heck yeah, it is.
At Elixir, TNZ.
It is.
Barrel aged. And it's barrel aged, but it's toasted barrel, so it's not very heavy. I do like it, though. I did help pick it.
You did help pick it. I was supposed to be in on that one all of a sudden because I was the one who first brought you a sample of Heath's gin because it is an H. Clark distillery toasted barrel aged gin. It is a dad's drinking bourbon with Tarek at Elixir. It's a sexy ass picture of Heath Clark on the front.
It is a sweet sticker.
Yeah.
They killed that one.
That picture of Heath, man.
No, he knocked it out of the park. Although I will say it was funny. I saw him after they got bottled. He was bringing some by, and he said that they had to, swell or expand his head a little bit. Because, he pretty much keeps a high and tight haircut.
Yeah.
But from where the picture, McConaughey had the long flowing locks, so they had to expand the top half of Heath's head a little bit so it would fit the cutout.
Heath might have had a frat flip at some point in his life and then kind of tightened it up.
That's probably right around the time that he went from undergrad to law school, and they said, all right there, buddy, you can't walk in the courtroom looking like this.
Yeah. You got to tighten it up. But that is a great pick. And then you think like Treaty Oak with the Waterloo gin and all the ones that Elixir had and all the ones that Barrels and Brews had. Elixir, I think, had 2. Barrels and Brews had about 10. All of them were very, very tasty. Here's something else that we didn't mention. Light whiskey. I think 2019, for those of you that got it, there was some light whiskey that came out of Backbone that was pretty damn tasty.
Very sweet, but very good and high proof.
The first one that came out of Elixir was 147 proof. It was Flight Risk. Then Barrels and Brews got it. I know Tarek and Elixir got more of it. There was some more that kind of trickled in other places.
Yeah, the Davidoff, the cigar bar downtown, they did pick.
Yep.
What cracks me about that, though, and Imagine if they had stuff like that, like back during the high school field parties.
Okay.
Where instead of throwing back, turkey or Bacardi 151 and making weird faces and not enjoying it, as sweet as that stuff is, oh man.
Everybody would have been puking their brains out.
There'd been a lot of hair holding.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I
bet you miss those days, don't you?
You mean miss days I had hair?
Yes.
So, long story short, so many good things going on in 2019, and we wanted to make sure we just mentioned them. I do want to say, our friends at Breaking Bourbon, nothing against them, but I think old Zeke dropped the line on that stag, and then guess what they came out and said their favorite whiskey of the year was? Your Stag Junior.
Oh, really? Oh, that batch 12?
Yeah.
No, that thing's popping on the boards right now.
I know. And
poor Tom's trying to get one and can't.
Well, and we were on there saying, you were like, I'm going to regret saying this, but this was my favorite whiskey. And then all of a sudden, boom.
Well, I mean, I wasn't saying favorite, but, back when we had the barbecue at the whiskey house and BTAC had just dropped, JB got his hands on GTS. Quickest one he could get was any of the BTACs. And so we had that. We had 2010. I think we had 04. Well, then somebody pulls that off just a regular shelf going, well, let's just see how it compares to this guy. I think this is the most recent release. And literally as the bottle goes around the room with probably 20 or 30 people, you just see the consensus of, well, I think this right here would just take the showdown between that and the Big Brother this year. So yeah, if you see that out there, the 132.3 proof batch 12, buy it and drink it. Don't worry about $60 or $70 because what people are going to pay for a GTS that I think this other bottle will beat, you may as well just give your palate a good time instead of a little pad to the wallet.
Totally agree. I mean, I have to think that there were some big things this year with some crafts and a lot of people that made moves. And I know, yes, they were people that we interviewed, but, Treaty Oak, Pinhook, Wilderness Trail, Chattanooga Whiskey, Taconic, a lot of these people have come on our show, and that's just not why I'm mentioning them, because there's plenty of people that haven't come on our show that we mentioned. But there is some other stuff outside of those big names that we talked about the previous episode that I wanted to make sure we talked about this episode. I truly believe, one of my favorite whiskeys of the year, and I know Zeke jokes at me because he says I sleep with a bottle, but if you're going to get something right off the shelf and it's from our home state, that Chattanooga whiskey is damn good.
Oh, I know what we forgot to mention as well.
What?
Another completely new product that surfaced in 2019. Peanut butter flavored whiskey.
How did we not mention Screwball?
I know.
And MPBW from Oldo.
I ended up buying a bottle of the PB&W when we were up in Chicago for the holidays. Just something to pour for the non-bourbon people.
Yeah.
Be sociable. We got to do that side by side. It's worth it. I think we got to really evaluate which one of these. And we even had some people message with some recipes.
Yeah.
I've had a few people PM me on that.
Cask Cartel actually sent us, and I have it. I'm waiting. We could do it together, but they sent us basically a mixed drink in one of those tubes.
That's a SKU that I think going forward is going to hold its weight.
Here's another little hint, like another secret. So I know we don't always do shine, and shine is not real shine because you actually pay for it. It's taxed, but
it's not the same proof either.
No, but Sugarlands, it's 100 proof, and it is a peppermint moonshine. And I know what you're thinking, but
did you ever get drunk on peppermint schnapps?
Oh, I have. Just it's not something you're going to get drunk on. You're not going to have the whole bottle of it.
Well, people do.
It's good though.
Peppermint moonshine, that's like a one night stand that you ain't calling again.
Well, I really liked it. I took a few sips of it. I said, this is good.
Well, the moonshine, I haven't had it, so I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying peppermint it's strong.
It's not as bad as the schnapps.
Okay.
It's just more sweet, and it's like more candy cane peppermint, where that schnapps is really strong.
Well, there was a couple of those samples we had from, who was that in that show we did a while back?
Old Forge.
There was some good stuff in there. There's
some really good stuff in there. And I think Old Forge just did a new one that was like an elderberry or something. Hold on, let me look this up. It's a new flavor of moonshine they did.
But I think, you're going to see that become a larger section in a lot of these stores now is just, these flavored whiskeys, and folks can knock it if they want. It might not be, I guess, authentic or whatever, quote unquote. But at the end of the day, if it tastes good, people are going to drink it. And if it's being sold and making money for stores, I think it's at least somewhat relevant enough for us to talk about from time to time.
Absolutely. Elderflower moonshine.
Get some of that for the next time you run the bubble bath in the new home. Turn the jets on. Put a little Yanni on.
I just think of Monty Python.
Barry White.
Where it's elderflower opposed to elderberry, but when the French are taunting them up on the... Have you ever seen Monty Python's Holy Grail?
This has been on the show multiple times.
We got to get you to watch that.
Not happening.
Anyways, amazing year.
I really think 2018, I don't remember any crafts we were really big on, and the whole concept. We were like, yeah, it's cool. We love seeing people branch out. It's really hard to support more than here and there because financially it's just tough on the damn wallet. But, this year the needle moved. The products improved significantly. And, I hope that trend continues.
Thank you to all the crafts that are putting out good stuff.
To the folks at Lincoln, I'm going to have to talk to my research department /team and them do a little homework here and figure out what's going on. But I'll get a memo into them ASAP.
Your research department does not need a memo. I'm on it. Also want to let you know that all glassware was provided by distilleryproducts.com. If you go to most distilleries and say, hey, where do you get your glassware? Chances are they are going to say distilleryproducts.com. Servicing all your etched glass needs, whether or not it's a Glencairn, a wee Glencairn. It's the place to go. They have the Tuath glass. They also have rocks glasses, highball glasses, whatever it is you need. They have decanters. Go to distilleryproducts.com. They have some of the best laser etch stuff at wholesale pricing. They also have the neat glass, all sorts of good stuff. If you want me to hook you up with them, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. I will make sure I get you in touch with the good folks at distilleryproducts.com so you can get glasses just like we do. Zeke, the folks can find us on Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Twitter at Bourbon Dads. Find us wherever you download your podcast. Please leave us an open and honest review, just like we leave open and honest reviews about the whiskey we drink. Honestly, guys, it's the best way for people to find us. The more of you that review us, the more apt we are to pop up higher on iTunes and search things so that people can actually find us. Zeke, where else can the folks find us?
Here in about another week or so, I think we're making the pilgrimage back to Lynchburg.
Cheers.
Ciao.